pushing. Okay. After you select the site, you connect all the station sites, become your planning. Then you can do your engineering planning, start seeing what type of structure you want for each sections and how to construct it and so on and so forth. So you can try to estimate the capital cost. That is the cost side, capital cost for your investment. Then the next thing you can do, or the next thing you should do, is to estimate how many people are going to take your train, and who are they, and how much they are willing to pay for it. So you want to forecast your ridership. The way to forecast your ridership basically are two steps. The first step is trying to figure out what are the current transportation market. Okay, how many people are taking airplane? How many people are taking train between point A and point B? How many people are taking bus? How many people are driving? Okay, so you have to understand the current market first. And then with the current market, you have to try to use a method to estimate or forecast how many of them are likely to transfer if they are provided with a new opportunity of the high-speed rail. Okay, so these are the type of the customer. We say they are diversioned. They are diversioned from the existing mode. So you have to try to find what are the diversioned customers, what this market look like. So how many of them are going to divert from each mode of the transportation? So that will become in, you have the first portion of the rider where they are going to take the high-speed train. And then you have to look at the second part, which is called induced. Induced is after the high-speed rail is built, the market will become bigger because it provides a more comfortable, more convenient, more productive time transportation tool. So there will be people who will make the trip if this is available, or there will be people who, without this trip, without the high-speed rail, they probably just think it's too much a hassle, and they will not do it. They will not make the trip. So you have to estimate what are these induced ridership, and by putting the diverted ridership and induced ridership, then you can get all the ridership which are likely to take the high-speed rail. Okay, and so the methodology is how to estimate this type. Well, this is basically a homework. You have to do a study of what the current situation understand the current market. Okay, once you understand the current market, then you have to start using a method to estimate who will divert and who are not likely to divert, still remain at the same. Okay, so this method, the way to forecast this diversion two. One is called disaggregate process. Another one is called aggregate process. There are these two processes. The disaggregate process is quite simple and straightforward. Basically, you do a survey. You try to intercept people at the airport or at the train station, at the bus station, or at the rest area on a highway. And you ask people if you are provided with a new transportation tool, which is called high-speed rail, would you make a change? Or would you make a change? So from their opinion, you try to devise a rule. Say, okay, for the people who are riding the bus how many of them are likely to transfer? Okay, so you try to devise that kind of rule from your survey. Or how many of the people they are flying when there is an option for high-speed rail and they would like to change. And so from the survey, you come up with that kind of the estimate. So by this estimate and by adding them together, and then you can find who are your customers, who likely to use it. This is called disaggregate method. It's heavily rely on your survey. The method sometimes has its limitation. The limitation being for a new transportation tool, sometimes the people you survey, it's very difficult to fancy what the situation. For instance, if you ask people who live in America whether they would like to transfer to high-speed rail, if there is an opportunity. If they don't have this experience, it's very difficult for them to fancy what is high-speed rail and what is a high-speed train can do for them, and what is the experience of riding on a high-speed rail. Not mention many people in United States doesn't even have the experience of riding a train. So one, in asking them to fancy such a new transportation, sometimes is a little bit difficult. And also from the survey, sometimes what reflects is their emotion and or their opinion doesn't necessarily mean they will take the high-speed train, or doesn't mean they do not want to take the high-speed train either. For instance, if you are talking to an environmentalist, and they will say, okay, of course, because this is better for environment. So then you got this kind of mixed feeling, and not related to their true demand for the system. Also, asking this cannot factor in. You are only asking the current situation. You cannot consider this induced or the growth of the market. Okay, so it's difficult for you to consider in the future change, like income change or population change and so on and so forth. Okay, so there are some past experience also verify that this type of the survey has its limitation. For taking the iTunes as example, when the iTunes concept first proposed or first pushed on the market, the estimate of the first 1 million of songs will be sold by iTunes Store was something like 6 months. But actually, when the iTunes Store started coming out, the first 1 million songs was sold in 6 days. So you can see that the survey and what will happen are very much different. Another example would be what Henry Ford often said. He often said that if I ask my customer what they want, they simply would have said a faster horse. So this is a kind of limitation. In order to avoid this kind of limitation, there's another method of estimating the ridership is by the so-called aggregate approach. The aggregate approach is based on the econometric approach. Basically, we are assuming that when a customer or passengers, they make a decision to choose transportation tool, they base on their rationale. And the simplest way of their rationale is they base on the economic reason, and that is the cheapest mode. However, what we say the cheapest mode doesn't only mean the travel cost of the ticket. We mean the travel cost of the ticket plus the time of what he spent on the trip. And for the time spent on the trip, because everybody has its own time value. So you have to consider different person use different time value, and their time value has to be considered in this cost. And so if you can put the actual ticket cost and the time value they spend on the trip altogether, then that becomes a factor which very close. This factor we call it generalized cost. So this generalized cost is very close to their decision base. They basically will decide if their generalized cost is the lowest for one transportation mode, and they are likely to take that. Plus, there are some kind of comfort reason, there are some kind of productive reason. For instance, riding a high-speed train, you can do a lot of work. You can listen to your iPhone. You can talk to on iPhone. You can listen to your iPad, and you can work on your computer. So this will be something add to that. But the basic one would be the generalized cost. So we can try to use this approach, try to find the current market behavior, try to explain the current market behavior with the generalized cost concept. And then, if high-speed rail is introduced, if you introduce the high-speed rail, and then that will actually put another generalized cost in traveling between A and B. And then that will become a comparison. If this new generalized cost is better or cheaper than the other transportation mode in the past, then passengers of that kind of income level are likely to move to the new transportation tool. So we can use this kind of concept. We can use this kind of approach, try to figure out what are the diversion passengers.